All right, let's talk about the American trucking industry. I mean, this is the massive, unseen engine that powers our entire economy. Think about it. The food in your grocery store, that package on your doorstep. If you bought it, a truck probably brought it. But what happens when that engine starts to break down? And that is the big question we're digging into today. Because here's the deal. The industry isn't just dealing with one little problem. No, it's facing a perfect storm of pressures that could honestly change everything. So to really get a handle on this, we're going to look at it through the lens of three distinct ticking clocks. Yeah, you heard that right. Each clock represents a totally different kind of pressure, a different kind of crisis. And trust me, they are all ticking louder and louder. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into the immediate economic squeeze that's hitting every single driver. Then we're going to uncover some of the systemic rot spreading from the inside out. After that, we'll look at the big technological revolution that's about to disrupt the whole shebang. And finally, we'll see what happens when all three of these clocks decide to go off at the same time. All right, let's jump right into our first clock. And this one, it's all about the money. We're talking about the daily, grinding pressure of costs just spiraling out of control. It's forcing thousands of truck operators to make some really impossible choices. And it really all starts at the pump. I mean, get this. The average price of diesel recently hit an all-time high, $5.52 a gallon. That is a staggering 50% jump. For drivers and small companies that are already running on razor-thin margins, that's enough to completely wipe out their profits. And look, this isn't just some number on a screen. This is real. A recent poll found that 18%, that's nearly 1 in every 5 small trucking companies, had to just stop. They had to halt operations completely because of these fuel prices. And when that many trucks disappear from the road, well, that means fewer trucks competing for loads. And you know what that means for you and me? Higher shipping costs for pretty much everything we buy. So here's a crucial point to understand. Truckers follow the money. They don't follow the headlines. Take this, for example, a tale of two bridges on the US-Canada border. You've got the Ambassador Bridge, which can charge up to $27 per axle. Ouch! Then you have the Blue Water Bridge, which is just around $7. Now, if you're a fleet owner making dozens of trips a day, that difference, well, it's everything. So, what was the result? Well, in just 1 year, the cheaper bridge, the Blue Water Bridge, saw 274,000 more truck crossings. I mean, that's not a small shift, right? That's a massive rerouting of the entire supply chain, and it's being driven purely by cost. The map is literally being redrawn right in front of us. Okay, let's move on to our second clock. This one is ticking away inside the industry itself. See, this isn't about outside costs like fuel. No, this is about something rotten, a deeply rooted system of fraud that puts safety at risk and just flat out exploits drivers. And the key to understanding this whole mess is a term you probably haven't heard before, the chameleon carrier. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a company playing a really dangerous shell game. They rack up a terrible safety record and then, poof, they disappear, only to pop right back up again under a new name with a completely clean slate. So here's how they pull it off. Step 1, the company gets a ton of safety violations, maybe even a bunch of crashes. Step 2, right before the regulators can bring the hammer down, they just dissolve the company. Step 3, they turn around and register a brand new company with a new name, and boom, step 4, hundreds of violations are just gone, wiped away. It's a clean slate, and they're right back out on the road. And this kind of fraud has a real human cost. Listen to this. Daniel Sanchez, who used to drive for a company accused of doing this stuff, said he was driving 600 to 800 miles a day and was still ending up in debt to his own employer. His paychecks were in the red, negative. So how on earth does that even happen? Well, a class action lawsuit alleges it's a widespread scheme. It goes like this. A freight broker agrees to pay, say, $1,500 for a load, but the paperwork the driver gets has been secretly changed. It only shows $1,200. The company just pockets that $300 difference. And the driver? They have no idea they've just been ripped off. So why do these companies keep getting away with it? It really comes down to one word: scale. You've got something like 700,000 trucking companies operating in the US, and the number of federal investigators who have to oversee all of them, just 350. I mean, do the math. The numbers just don't add up, and that creates loopholes big enough to drive a semi-truck right through. Okay, now for our third and final clock, technology. While the old system is struggling with crazy high costs and all this internal corruption, a brand new force is coming. It promises to solve some of these problems. but it's going to create a massive disruption all its own. For the big trucking fleets, you've got to understand this switch to electric, it isn't really about saving the planet. It's about saving money, lots of it. The total cost of ownership, when you factor in fuel, maintenance, all of it, is so much lower that people are calling it a TCO no-brainer. This is a pure economic decision, and that's what makes it so powerful. And don't think this is some far-off fantasy. The technology is here, right now. A Tesla Semi has already proven it can go 500 miles on a single charge while pulling a full 75,000-pound load. That's more than enough juice to handle a huge chunk of the daily routes in America. So for a lot of operators, that whole range anxiety debate, it's pretty much over. And again, this isn't some distant future stuff. The first deliveries already happened back in 2022. Volume production is slated to kick off in early 2026, and their target is to be pumping out 50,000 of these trucks a year just a few months after that. This disruption isn't just coming, it's happening fast, and it's happening at a massive industrial scale. So there you have it, 3 clocks all ticking towards one critical moment. Let's wrap this up by looking at what happens when they all strike at the same time, because honestly, that's the reality this industry is staring down right now. See, these clocks aren't just ticking on their own. They're actually making each other worse. Think about it. Clock 1, the economic squeeze, makes drivers desperate because of high fuel costs. That desperation pushes them right into the arms of these fraudulent chameleon carriers from Clock 2. And then along comes Clock 3, technology, which looks like a way out of the fuel crisis. But the crazy high upfront cost of an electric truck means only the biggest, wealthiest fleets can afford to play. And that could squeeze out the honest, small operators who somehow managed to survive the first 2 clocks. This collision is creating this moment of just profound change. The entire industry is being reshaped right before our eyes, and a whole new pecking order is forming. And it leaves us with a really crucial question for the future of our supply chain. As all these pressures collide and the industry transforms, who's actually going to be left on the road? The exploited driver who's trapped in a bad system? The fraudulent operator who knows how to game it? Or the huge tech-savvy fleet that can afford to bypass all of it? That is what we all need to be watching.